and out. This is a space of more than just a minister leading a group. This is a space of shared ministry. And may we all minister to each other in ways that we need and answer the calls that we hear ever so slight this week. Reminded over and over again that UUCC is a place of belonging and you are here for every good reason. May it be so. And blessed be. Okay.
Reverend Mandy, is there a fire going?
That is such a good question. Is there a fire going? There is, but it's not a serious one. It's just this candle that we light the chalice from. Thank you. See, I also want to point out there's a fire exit right here. And at the back. Where are we? We're here. Okay, so I've introduced this in a silly way, but I want to just express that the work of this church belongs to the people, not the minister. And the fact that I have become a stressed out expert on lighting candles is a good sign that we need to move into a space of shared ministry, leaning into sharing with each other. But what's important is you know that I'm not just off on, well, it wouldn't matter if I was on vacation because y'all love me, but I'm off doing some good hard work to sustain myself and work in the future. Can I have the next slide? I've forgotten my clicker. This is the plan. So I've been trying to trick myself into having a plan while I'm gone without over-planning while I'm gone. So let me read through this plan to you. In August, I am taking care of loose ends and letting go. I am going to declutter a little bit. I am going to work on my camper that some have referred to as a she shed. I am getting all the camping equipment out. It will be filled with art supplies. Perfect. In September, the theme is Art Tools of the Trade. I am taking 2 art classes, oil painting, one about studio skills, and the other more of a Baroque figure drawing, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that will go weird and sideways. So, October is stillness, silence, listening. November is camping in Ohio, family roots, ancestral memories. December is recharge, time with loved ones, resting near the fire. And January is re-entering, cross back over, new rhythms, and a recharged heart. That's the monthly. I was trying not to be too heady with myself. I do get on my nerves, so I've turned this into kind of a field guide for myself to follow. So can I have the next slide? And then we'll get on to the questions. I have this daily routine planned. This is not super different than what I already do. Create, paint, draw, collage, write, think, lofty thoughts in the morning. You will normally find me anywhere between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, standing with a cup of coffee, staring at chickens on my back porch, and that will continue. And then dog training. I have these 2 amazing dogs who need a job so they quit fighting with each other. And the dreams I've had for these dogs are expansive. I have imagined circuses. I have imagined a little cart where they pull sticks that I'm gathering through the yard. Perhaps a plow. I don't know what's going to happen to these dogs, but they're in for it. And then spiritual practice. Even ministers need rules about that. And one of my little squeak by the spiritual practice thing is I oftentimes count creativity as that, painting or writing, but now I'm going to be a little more meditating for 3 minutes to 5. I'm kidding, but like some kind of structured practice. And in the afternoon, I'm going to adult things. I'm super bad at filling out forms, getting driver's license renewed, all those kind of things. I'm going to get that kind of cleaned off my plate, maybe clean the house once in a while. I could cook for Andre for a change. That would be. And then I'm committing my evenings to family and friends. And so that is what a basic day looks like and my loosey-goosey plan for the next 5 months. Next slide, please. And here comes the terror. Can we bring forward the question box? Done. Oh, you have the questions. Judy has sorted them for me. Yay. I kept imagining like the Darth Vader. Dun, dun, dun. I
To actually ask you, or you want to just-
What do you? Yeah, you can ask me. I'm gonna go up here though, so people can see my mouth.
All right,
The joy of outgoing board. It's on.
it's on. Okay. Okay. Do you do a sabbatical every year?
No, I barely take a vacation. I like working trips. I'm not good at breaks. This is something that I have earned from my tenure here for the last 6 years. I get a month for every year I serve the congregation to take a break.
What does it feel like to when you tell people that you're going on sabbatical?
Like I want to throw up. No, I'm excited. I'm getting over this surely won't happen into, oh my gosh, let's do it. So.
Are you really coming back in January?
Yes, I am really coming back in January. I have said this, and I know other people said this to this congregation, but I, in earnest, say that I am a one and done minister. Like, this is my church, and when I leave here, it will be to go drive a van and evangelize or something silly or just raise more chickens. So this is it. I am coming back.
What if we see you at Aldi's, and what do we do if we see you out in town? Do we run and hide from you, pretend we don't know you, burst into tears and throw our arms around you?
It would entertain me if you ran and hid, but, you know, I am kind of a hermit, and this might not be as big of a worry as you think. I am not a big fan of crowds, and I do not like grocery shopping, so that'll clear it up. But doctor's office, you're probably going to run into me, or someplace. Let's just say hi. My boundary would be that nobody really talks to me about, you should see the fire that caught in the woods at church while you were gone. You know, that, no. Hugs, yes. I am going to miss you all terribly. And it's going to take some of that sustaining spiritual practice to be away from here and not worry what's in the refrigerator. So hugs are good.
Okay.
Quick check in. No church news. There's the rules.
Will Andre still be around? Does he get a sabbatical?
He gets a sabbatical too. So Andre will not be around. Actually, we are, in the olden days before I worked on the weekend, we loved camping and canoeing and even doing, I don't know, work around the house. We're just going to really relish spending weekends together. You all will have to make your own coffee on Sunday morning because he won't be here.
We can use people to volunteer for that, by the way.
Yeah.
And what if we see him out and about in town? Do we need to run and hide as well?
Andre, will you come answer that? Because I'm not you. Yes, I would run from him any chance. What if they see you at TVA?
I would say that if you run into me in public, I am happy for a hug, to talk. I think the same rules that apply for Mandy would apply for me. I'm not there to convey messages to Mandy. If you want to just say hi to me, that's cool. We haven't talked about this, but I was thinking about if like potlucks continue, I might still come to like potlucks or special events.
You're such a gossip. Can you handle that?
I think so.
Okay.
Thank you, Andre. What about following you on social media?
Oh, I have some big news. I'm quitting. In fact, I'm going to make it almost impossible to get a hold of me while I'm gone. I am doing some radical letting go of Facebook and other nefarious things, including this horrible mandygoheen@gmail.com that has 3,982 email messages in it, and I am shutting that thing off. I will be doing some projects that will be pretty interesting when I get back, but as for this little time period, I am dropping off the radar. I'm also changing my phone number, beloveds. I know. I think it's a sign that I live in Tennessee. I have an old Virginia phone number from 15 years ago, and when I call you, you think I'm selling you the second policy on your car insurance or something. So I just kind of want to have a fresh start and not isolate necessarily, but let go of some things that really stress me out. In social media, I let go a lot last year and only painted for a few months, but I think that that needs to remain stable because that's mostly fake news anyway.
How specifically will you use your time on sabbatical to be better at your job?
That's a really good one. I think just rebooting. When I got here, I was exhausted from being online doing ministry. I'd worked at the Church of the Larger Fellowship for 5 years. I was managing their prison ministry, which was not online, obviously, but letter writing and newsletters and stuff like that. And I was really active publicly and denominationally. And when I got here, I was super burnt out, and I was really here to be with people. And then that 2019-20 shutdown thing happened. And I really lamented having to be back online, being separated from people. Now I'm forgetting the question because I'm telling a story. To ask me again.
Specifically, well, it doesn't say specifically. How will you use your time on sabbatical to be better at your job?
Yes. So I'm going to do a lot of writing, and I'm going to do a lot of reflection about sabbatical. One of my big long-term goals is to become a teaching minister and helping other ministers get the hang of the realities of congregational life. And so doing some writing and reflecting, but I also think that leaning into being an artist for a little bit, because that sounds so romantic, and 5 months seems long enough to get over it. Just taking some time to follow my dreams so that when I come back here, I'm not asking, is this the place for me? I'm leaned into my skills and refreshed and rebooted and ready to start over, because y'all will be different when I get back.
I think I kind of said this, but your biggest goal and hope for your sabbatical, I think you're kind of addressed.
Yes, I have a surprise project, but I want to say that it's not a tenure college professor gets to go on sabbatical and there's an expectation of some marvelous journal writing by the end of this. This is more about me recentering on who I am, resting up, getting a little more spiritually souped up and coming back. There is not an expectation in Unitarian Universalism that I will bring a product back from that.
Any more fun things that you want to share that you haven't already?
Yes. So I think I'm going to go on a trip. I think I'm going to fly to LA, where my aunt, who still can bake apple pie like my grandma does, lives. Might be worth the plane ride for that. And my plan is to ride a train up the coast to the Pacific Northwest and then travel up to Ontario, Canada to see my bestie cousin. So adventure. Also doing a lot of camping, maybe a little lone camping. I like being alone. I have a lot of people at my house. And I like being in the woods at night. So that would be fun for me.
Who's going to be doing the Sunday services?
That is such a great question. I saw her amble around the corner. Gail Audier, can you come up so people can see who you are? Woo! A little story. Gail has told me no to everything I've ever asked her to do, which was mostly be the board president over and over and over again. But what she said yes to, and it made me feel so secure and so wonderful, is managing and organizing worship. It doesn't mean she's going to be speaking every Sunday. What it does mean is she'll be helping bring in guest speakers that are relevant to what's going on here. So you have which Sundays are you covering first?
Where's my laptop? I need my spreadsheet.
That is the point. Where's my laptop?
Spreadsheet.
I'd be like, I can't remember. Anyway, it's first.
Yep.
And then second Sundays will be religious education. They will be a multi-generational. We have that all planned out until I get back. Jan Brooks is going to be one of the people that does a service about animals. When is that, August?
10th.
August 10th. See, so we already have the plan. We have invited the Reverend Jeff Krim, who grew up in our RE, to speak here on third Sundays, and then fourth and fifth will be what the committee that you're running, which we call Wowzers, working on worship. They will be doing services on the other Sundays. And then we have Rev Pam, who will do a couple Sundays. So we are really well booked into January.
Yes, and we also have some experimental Sundays and some fun activities, and we've got all kinds of things planned, some great outside speakers. Our Social Justice Committee has a Sunday. Our Earth-Centered group has a Sunday, so we're going to have lots of really fun things, and Layla and I are going to get together on some music and, so do some fun things.
And the band always on third Sundays too, so that's fun.
Thank you, Gail. It's going to be great. What if we need ministerial services like a wedding, a funeral, a hospital visit, other pastoral care?
That is such a good question. First of all, some of you who are newer around here might not know a secret. I don't like weddings. So if you ask me to do a wedding and you are not part of this direct little pod that I run in on Sunday, I'm probably going to say, Rich Dwyer, the guy that looks like Santa Claus, or you can do a wedding at the library.
Or here.
Or here.
That was Charlotte.
Charlotte, and all you have to be is a notary now, right, to do that? And Cass can marry you. She's our bookkeeper. So listen, we have all the ways to hook up and get hitched around here. Reverend Pam has expressed that she will step in if a beloved member would pass away and need a memorial service, but that would also be under the category of I might come back for that. If it's somebody who's critical and just foundational in the movement of the congregation, that is always the little catch, is that if there is a certain event, I can come back. Pastoral care is a little different. Who knows Wendy Sapp? Most of us. If you don't, you'll get to know her. She ran our pastoral care group. It was called lay pastoral care in the past when the minister, it was out a separate thing from the minister, and she's been focused on religious education and has actually dropped the work of religious education to focus solely on pastoral care. So if there's something rough going on in your family, you're having a parenting problem, if you're a kid, Carla, our director of religious education, is also filling in for pastoral care. There will be numbers and contacts for all of these things on a sabbatical brochure that will be here while I'm gone. And it'll tell the dates I get back. And it'll look a little goofy like a field guide because I'm silly, but it will have all that information. And always, always emailing the office is a good idea if you need help.
Super. What would you like to see this doing in 5 years? That's a tough one.
That's a tough one, right? I'm just trying to blank you all out for a little bit. I'd like to be a teaching congregation. I'd like to be hosting in the South specifically, when people are in seminary and they are going through their ministerial formation, we don't have a lot of places for people to serve. So it becomes kind of a burden on them. I would really like to work with that and maybe work with the the statewide justice network that is developing, called Toucan, because I don't know. But I really would love to see us leading more into our commitment to education and maybe expanding some food sustainability with the property and native plants and all that stuff.
All great goals. I don't know, this relates specifically to sabbatical, but it's certainly one that we all talk about, and from the board on down, and maybe you've got an idea off the top of your head. Even while you're gone, what might we be doing to help increase our membership?
So I think that is a perfect question, and I think that I'll be here for the board retreat in August, and what happens in the board retreat is we set some goals. And one of the things that I've already brought up to our current board leaders, Charlotte and Judy, is I am charging you all with getting membership kind of ironed out while I'm gone. Membership is about you. It's about the people. It's not about getting people off the street. It's about taking care of each other and maintaining this place for, the minister isn't in charge. And so having that opportunity for people who might have even religious trauma coming into a place where the minister doesn't have authority or say over them and inviting them into this very special community feels critical to the work and what would actually make this place grow. So I know we have some volunteers already bubbling up, and I just want to put someone on the spot who doesn't love it. And Marge Pash has said, Marge has said that she's going to help us with that. We're constantly organizing lists of people and trying to figure out who's who and who needs a name tag, but smoothing that process out will be one of the projects of the board next year.
And last but not least, what is your favorite flower?
That's kind of like my favorite song. It depends on what day. I don't like lilies, which is a joke. I've told the lily story before. I love flowers. I think this time of year, zinnias make me feel good. I love sunflowers. I like wildflowers the best. My favorite flower is probably driving down a country road and either seeing a bright orange butterfly flower or seeing that red bee balm that every so often shows up in the mountains. So we still have a minute. Does anybody have a question that has come up while I have been up here? Uh-oh. You're going to make me dance? Who are you going to make dance to songs during the offertory while I'm gone?
Will you dance? I'm just kidding. Okay. So this was kind of a lofty one, I guess, because I had time to sit here and think. What would you like us to focus on personally as our minister, as our reverend, if you could pick something, and as a congregation while you were on sabbatical?
I don't know if y'all have seen the news the last couple days, but oh, crap, right? Like, taking care of each other, reminding each other that you're not alone. This is times such as these right now. Also, I would call folks to become more authentic 24/7 with their values, not just here on Sunday morning, because that actually will help you get through some of that rough news out in the world. Just keep loving the world and working on becoming who you are more authentically. The more we are authentic in our true identity, the more we have access to our values. Was that heavy enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Reverend,
Yes, yeah. Oh, we got one back here.
you support us every Sunday. Me, probably more of these people more during the week. I support you. I'm going to miss you like crazy, but no guilt.
Thank you. I want to remind folks who might not have been here that this church went 7 years without a settled minister, and it was still here when I got here. And you can do it. This is a tenacious, scrappy, awesome congregation that I adore. And it is different than any other UU church. Some of us know that because we've been to other ones, right? This is a special gem in the South. And I know that you maintain that and you are that, and it's not me. I just get to dance around and show you off. So, any other questions?
Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
What is your favorite song?
Today?
And if not, what is your favorite music genre?
Oh, goodness. Thank you for that long list. I love a good story in a song. So genre can be a little iffy. I listen, here, how about I tell you what I heard in the car on the way here? So I listened to Shabuzi on the way here. The song Chrome, you know, because he says, big A truck, gonna park wherever I want. And I need that sometimes. I also am a big, I'm sorry, I think it's because of Father's Day and I miss my dad. I'm in a David Allan Coe phase. And You Don't Have to Call Me Darlin'. Darlin' is probably the song that's playing the very most in my head, which is so, thank you for asking, not what you were expecting, I bet.
Second part of that question.
Oh, yeah.
When you return, is there a specific song you want to hear both the choir and the Third Sunday band perform?
There's a song by the Avett Brothers that I had at my ordination, and ironically, it played in my little goofy playlist this morning. And the song for my ordination was called Head Full of Doubt. And I have like I've never grown out of having a head full of doubt about this job, this vocation, this thing. And that song just reminds me that even doubting can be kind of a celebration, and that would be the song.
Somebody text that to me, please.
Oh, I want to give the different one to the, can I give a different one to the choir?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'll think about that. Yeah. We're getting a new hymnal, so who knows, it might be goofy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, for the choir, I would think We Are, which is, you have it. It's Ye Say Barnwell. It's in the blue. For each child is born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are, like that. Anyway, I won't sing, but those would be my two that I would give you. Thank you. That's kind of exciting. All right. Any other questions? Yeah.
I would like to think that, God forbid, if anything should happen in your family, you would let us know
Yes.
so that we could, be present in some way.
That is so kind, and I agree. And so Charlotte will have my new phone number, and being the board president, she'll be the one that I can communicate, or even stuff like, hey, I am going to California. I will email her and let her know so that you all know sort of where in the world I am while I'm gone. That's a great question. Thank you, because you all support me so much in my family. I appreciate it. Okay.
What is the exact date that you return?
I will be here on the 11th of January on that Sunday. I think that's a Sunday. Or it's a Tuesday, and that's the week I come back. All right. Anything else? So, speaking of the offering, just to move in awkwardly as we do, maybe Wowzers will iron that part out for us while I'm gone. So, I want you to know that this church saved money for this. Saved money for guest speakers, put aside money actually during COVID when I didn't use my expense account. And we saved up for this. This is not a financial burden on the church while I'm gone. I do get paid the same amount, but I do not get my complete ministerial expense account. If somebody needs to access the benevolence fund, we are working on a process for that. And this is not one of those things that's going to be disruptive to the budget this year. This was already money that we saved up for a rainy day because it was part of my original contract. And in the spirit of that, this place is managing money so well, and that would be one of my biggest celebrations since I got here, is that cell tower deal is done, and that we are continuing to build financial security in a time when churches are closing. In a time when I counted yesterday, I think 30 churches didn't find ministers this round. 30. We are in a time such as these all over the place, right? And so creating this financial stability doesn't just come from savings. It comes from the little giving on Sunday morning. It comes from all of us. And our generosity is important, no matter if it's a tiny amount or a big amount. And that money I'm very frugal. I never have spent my entire expense account. I might next year when it's half. So, but a bunch. But, when I do spend it, it's on things like I took Rev Pam and me to a retreat this year. I got new computers for all staff this year. Laptops. Somebody caught me carrying my Mac in one day. And they were like, don't you need laptops? I was like, oh, I think that would be a lot easier. Not you yet. Okay, we'll talk about that. I just said something that wasn't true. But with that idea that generosity is a foundational value of this place, and without listening to me go on and on, the offering will be gratefully accepted. Oops. Please join together in the offertory response. We give these gifts freely. Thank you. I'm going to go back here. This does not have a picture on it because of a misunderstanding. I have a lot of humor in my life, and I just have to open this because this is a serious subject. I asked Judith last night what the social justice moment was so I could make a slide, and you said the I forget. It was about FEMA problems, but she sent female problems, and I was trying to figure out what in the heck they was going to talk about, but how much I trust him and trust in the people here. I didn't question it, and I was looking at all these weird slides of women, and I was like, I'm just going to leave that blank. And that is your introduction, my love. But I do trust you implicitly in what you're going to say that I didn't even question. I did think maybe it was Republican women who voted. Anyway, okay.
And that was a phone error, not mine.
A phone? Oh, the phone did it. Okay. All right. Welcome to the social justice moment. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, that's the end of that. Some people thought I might talk about the war that's going on right now. I'm not. We'll be on the street tomorrow with our signs dealing with the war. But I am wearing a t-shirt that has Hebrew and American, and this one has Arabic symbols on it instead of Farsi, which is the language of the Persian kingdom. So this will have to do for today. But I've been preparing for 4 weeks to talk about FEMA, and they keep leaving me off the schedule. So that's why I'm up here, because I want to warn you about another disaster that's about to happen sometime. You know, it's hurricane season. You know that. And what happened last year in the Carolinas, and of course what happened with the fire in Los Angeles a year ago. There's a whole lot of disasters that are happening. And the cost reduction thing that went on in the administration in the last few months cut the number of people who are working for FEMA. Cut them by 2,000. Now FEMA was already understaffed, so that they were already stretched to the limit. And over in the Carolinas, that's obvious because they've had a long time doing that. So they cut 2,000 more people, and the problem is a lot of these were done by resignations or people who were just leaving the agency, retiring. What happened is in FEMA is it was a brain drain, okay? Because in FEMA, you have to know how to show up when the disaster happens, whatever disaster it is. In other words, you have to be prepared. you have to have stuff stockpiled, you have to have means of getting it there, you have to have people on the ground who know what they're doing, and also people in the administrative structure that knows how to order more and how to get more material out to the place. So if you cut personnel, what you're cutting is the ability of the agency to react to the disaster. And the disaster is already horrible. It's already overwhelming the agency as it is, especially for a hurricane that goes on shore and wipes out all kinds of mountain communities. So the problem with this cost reduction in FEMA is that it takes away the ability to react of the organization, okay? In other words, it takes away the foresight. So it's a stupid decision. It's just plain stupid. And it will result in the increased deaths of people, because if FEMA is not there immediately after the wind stops blowing, as you saw in New Orleans, people will die because they don't have services. But the social justice aspect of this is that disasters affect people differently because they're of different economic abilities. And there are an awful lot of poor or low-income people and a lot of immigrants who are living out away from cities, out where people really need sources during FEMA. And so if you take away FEMA's ability to react to these people, they will be affected in a larger way than the people who have lots of money and who are able to get away, and people who have insurance on their property. They'll be compensated in some way. Usually they're not satisfied, but they're compensated in some way. But all those people without insurance, without the ability, without good transportation, without the ability to deal with the problem, they just get clobbered. And a lot of them over in the Carolinas are still waiting. Rural people in Carolinas are still waiting for services. Some people over there don't have any electricity yet. I mean, it's a basic understanding that when there is a disaster in a society, the people, the underclass of the society pays for it. This is what always happens. But we are a democracy where we're supposed to share resources so that nobody is disadvantaged more than anybody else is. But in a capitalist system, the people who don't have resources are always disadvantaged, especially when there's a disaster. That's why I'm talking about FEMA today, because we got to get it together. We got to get the administration. This is what the federal government does, is provide administration to help people who are clobbered in various ways. And we could talk about health insurance, we could talk about pediatrics, we could talk about anything in here in the same way, but I was talking about FEMA today. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, see, we're not doing that yet. You know, I was thinking about what Dave was saying a little bit, and part of my connection is I served as an AmeriCorps person back in the, I don't know, I would like to say back in the day, it was like 11 or 12 years ago. Anyway, and you know, I was in that work when I got my call to minister. And I was thinking about, as he was speaking, all the young folks that are no longer getting opportunities to do that kind of scholarship in the United States because of funding cuts for things like FEMA. FEMA came in and trained all of us what to do the day the tornado would come. And that was our job, was to show up. And we have to have people like that to show up. And it is critical to people who are in poverty. I have family in Roper, North Carolina, And you drive down the road and many, many houses have tarps on their roofs because FEMA didn't show up. And they're living under tarps in the Carolinas. And we all know how muggy and hot that is. So that is really important. Thank you for talking about that. And I'm glad it wasn't as silly as I made it. So I'm going to ask us all to rise in body and or spirit and sing our closing song, The Fire of Commitment, a good UU rally round the ministry.
From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear. From the hands and hearts and spirits into faith and free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and souls ablaze. When our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way. When we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within. When our promise finds fulfillment and a future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both free and clear, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze. When our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way. When we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within. When our promise finds fulfillment and the future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze. When our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way. When we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within. When the promise finds fulfillment and a future can begin.
Thank you, and please be seated. This was a silly day, and the world is hard outside. I saw the news last night and started getting that same feeling that I had when this happened before, because it always has happened before, right? We have been declaring war on so and such and doing this thing where we seem to flick people who get angry over and over and over again and then act surprised when they retaliate. I immediately thought back to the USS Cole, remember that? And I thought, no wonder, because the president before that had flicked and flicked and flicked, sorry, I know I'm trying to talk so people can see me, flicked and flicked and flicked people in the Middle East until they were angry. And this feels like that, and this feels like the same old story played over and over again. And the one thing that bothered me the most is it wasn't the top story. It was. But it wasn't like if there had been something happen in the United States, like a news blast, if there was a hurricane or there was a tragic death of some kind of celebrity or something fancy like that, a police shooting. That's the point here, is we're gonna get worn down. And the news, listen, if CNN is getting worn down, we are too. Pay attention to what the news is, but even more, pay attention to each other and how that news is impacting your neighbor, your friend. We saw something extraordinary at the No Kings rally, and you know the thing I saw that was so different is it wasn't, and I don't mean to brag, it wasn't just mostly women out there. Because in the past, who would you mostly see? You would see Dave and his wonderful signs and a bunch of us feminists running around angry. But this time it was everybody. It was a more level playing field, a more level-headed, disgruntled anger than we have had before. And I don't think anger is super healthy to hold on to, but don't let it go. I will be watching the news, and I will be here with you in spirit while I am gone, and there is likely something hard to happen. Don't let it numb you out. Go protest. I was thinking that the next time there's a big rally in the park and I see people who can't participate because of their differing abilities, we should all get in the back of my truck and drive around the corner over and over and over again and hoop and holler together, because there is something vitally important and sustaining about being together. This war on false blah, blah, blah about nuclear, which is really, I mean, I could say, I heard our bookkeeper laughing at me going, it's so reminiscent, and it's so repeated, and it's such an old story. And I want to be clear that radicalism, fundamentalism, is not Judaism. And peace is at the center of anything God or Jesus ever called us to do. And that mantle of religion to hurt people has got to end in this world. Let's work towards religious freedom. Let's work towards a care-centered, loving community, because if we fall asleep during the revolution like Rip Van Winkle did, it's going to be bad when we wake up. So let's stick together. Let's keep having potlucks. Let's keep protesting. Let's keep digging holes in the backyard. Let's keep doing the work of this community, because those folks deserve it that just walked in. And that's so what today. All right. And now it's time to extinguish the chalice. Also easy, but a little lesson. So this is a snuffer. I like to call it a dingle hopper too, but it is a snuffer. And we snuff out the chalice, but we take this light, this fire that's lit up with us out in the world. We take our values. This is just a centering symbol. So please join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but keep the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. All right, yay. It's time for announcements, our other sacred time in the service. So who knows Charla and Z and Brian? They're moving, which I know is miserable, especially in the summer. They are in Indiana this weekend finding a house, but save the date. There'll be more details to come in the newsletter this week, but save the date. They need help loading the truck on July 5th from 9 until it's done, which I've been in that experience too, which when it's done is usually when you leave your most beloved things on the side of the road because they didn't fit. Anyway, until it's done, and they're going to provide refreshments, and it also will be an opportunity to get together and help out. More people to carry one box is easier. One of my favorite memories of all times is when we arrived with the truck, and this community came to our new place and unloaded the truck. And it's such a good way to share that fellowship and that sense of togetherness. So, we don't want people to move on, but when they do, let's take care of them during the process. And then, paint and sip. Paint and sip, paint and sip. I love these pictures. Sorry, I was staring at them. I like the cheetah. Is that what that is? Jaguar. Okay, I'll go back. I don't hear it. Oh. Okay.
So July 12th, July 19th, it got moved. Saturday, July 19th, we'll be having a paint and sip here. This will be our 4th paint and sip. And Constantine will be coming back again to lead us in watercolor painting. He is a very accomplished local watercolor artist, and he designs his own prints them himself, and this is what he was able to paint. I don't know if mine would look like that, but I would enjoy the process. So we gather here, it's right here at 6:30 on July 19th, and we will have a couple of tables of food. We have some desserts to choose from. We have some savory bites. We also have wines to try. We have alcohol-free drinks. We have gluten-free food and vegan food upon request. So it's $25 per person, and that $25 covers all of the art materials, the artist instruction, which lasts for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, all of the food, all of the wine. We spend some time socializing first, and then we head into the fellowship area to paint. So if you would like to join us that night, please sign up out in the fellowship area. We do have scholarships available, so if you don't have $25 right now, but you want to attend, don't let that stop you. Just let us know. Kids, if you have kiddos, we do about $15 for kids if they want to come and join. So anyway, sign up out there. Let me know if you have questions. We also have our next group book. This was nominated by Marge Pash, who's right here. It's The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. This author won a Pulitzer for Cast. I believe it was Cast. I am still reading this book. It is incredible so far. It's the story of the Great Migration from the South to other places in the country. We get to meet a lot of very particular people in here and hear their stories. There is a lot of information. It is a nonfiction. It won a National Book Award. It is really engagingly written. It is quite a tome. So we have 3 months to read this book. We're going to meet September 14th. That's the Sunday when we're doing this. You can find this was the last copy at McKay, but you can find these online for about $5 or $6 each if you want to get one used. So please consider joining us. You'll hear from us again in September, and this is now on your summer reading list. Thank you.
Okay. Any other announcements? Oh, I have some. They're up here. Oh.
Gary, would you please come forward?
Okay. Dang it, Gary.
Gary was out of town taking care of family business during our annual meeting, and many of you who were here, I appreciate you coming, but I gave little kudos to all of the board, so you missed that, so you get to do it on your own here.
See what happens when you leave? Singled out.
So Gary has been on the board for a couple of years, I think now. He's also been reelected to serve another 2-year term, but as you know from his announcements, he graciously agreed to take on the stewardship campaign this year. Not a necessarily fun job, but a very important job. Could be a stressful job, but it was very important. And so we have a couple of things for you. One is some toffee, because I understand that's something that you enjoy. And some weird kind of beer from Trader Joe's, because I also understand you enjoy different kinds of beer. So I don't know if you'll like this grapefruit beer, but thank you so much, Gary, for all you did for us in many ways, and you tech from the board, especially in the stewardship campaign in particular this year.
Thank you all for the gift. And of course, thanks for your participation in the campaign. It was really generally wonderful.
You did a really good job and it turned out well. Is that a good frame for it?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah. Is that what you want?
Yes.
I read Sally's mind.
Yes. Hello, I'm Sally, she, her. I'm on the Religious Education Committee. Next announcement is for parents. We have one more Parents' Day out. You can leave your kids here all day, more or less, from 11 to 4. I've left my kids there. The nursery staff are the ones who will be there, and it is so much fun. They have a blast, and we get to just go do something else without the kids. It's great. 11 to 4 this Thursday. That's also in the newsletter. Thursday, June 26th, 11 to 4. Highly recommend. And Minerva's very friendly. Eddie's very friendly. They'll be there to play with your kids too. And for everybody, Fun Day. 1 week from today, next Sunday, right after church is another fun day. These have been so much fun every time. We have games, we have crafts, we have sit around and chat, we have potluck. Feel free to bring something. We have sign-ups if you want to bring anything, not for the food, but we have sign-ups to help keep it running smooth. So if you will be willing to help us set up or break down or tidy up the food, and we would love for you to bring food, and we would love for you to come eat food with us, play games with us, bring any games you love. It's gonna be great. Fun day right after church on Sunday.
And that is the traditional, she needs the, that's the traditional, we usually have like a 4th of July-ish thing. That's that day, just so you know. It's not specifically called that, but just so you know.
Just a reminder for those of you who saw in the newsletter, there's a social justice meeting, 12:30 after church today. So if anyone is interested in checking out some of the things that we're going to be doing, you're welcome to come. We'll meet back here at the table. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning, for an hour, there will be a pop-up on O'Brien for social justice on O'Brien Road overpass. And we already have the signs made. So if you want to come and join us in doing that event, please do. It lasts for an hour.
Thanks. All right. So the countdown has begun. I will not be here next week, I think. Isn't that true? It's going to be Wowzer's premiere Sunday, and they're going to be talking about some of the behind-the-scenes amazing work our leadership does. There are all these bylaws and this and that and checklists, but the work of relationship in this congregation is vital and critical, and we'll learn a little bit more about our leaders. Afterwards, a party, playing games, all the fun, and then the week after, I will be back, and I will begin a 3-week countdown of being gone. So one of the sermons when I get back is about procrastination, which is funny because Steve Hollingsworth and I have been planning this sermon since I got here. And so we are going to do our service about procrastination, and we are going to lean into practicing. The last service before I leave is one more visitation on how we all might take in the spiritual practice of Sabbath or sabbatical or something like that. So I'll be here not next week and then 3 more weeks. That makes me so nervous. Anyway, you all are amazing. Our service has ended. May your light shine brightly in the world, and you go out and give good hugs and good love to people and listen and do justice and kick ASS. So let's go. I would have said that, but the kids came back.